We're good.
The heat is on. The games count, and the sun is out in Bloomington, and it is going to be a hot one as Ohio State kicks off the 2023 season shortly right here at Memorial Stadium against Indiana. That is Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. We made it. The offseason is over. Buckeyes go right to work on a steaming day.
Yeah, it's not particularly like temperature-wise warm, but it is very humid out here. We started sweating through my shirt walking to the photo workroom. So, and right now it's only 85. It's supposed to get up to like 93 by the time kickoff hits. So, gonna be a warm one for Ohio State, and I think that's probably okay. I mean, the last couple of days of practice, I'm sure felt pretty good. It was like perfect, fall weather, but this is what you want on September the 2nd, right? You want to get out there and feel like you're playing a Big Ten football game, and that's hot.
Well, that's what the fall weather was for. I guess we got spoiled by that in Columbus this week, but we are back again to bring you some keys on the podcast as we get set for kickoff. And I think number one is that point that you made. Like, you haven't played in a game, so this heat, it's a test of your depth. It's a test of your ability to stay hydrated. Both of those things are going to be critical when you haven't played a game in a long time. You'll see cramping and things like that on both sides. Yeah. You would think that favors Ohio State in that situation, even if they had a cooler week of practice in Columbus, just because they have vastly superior depth to Indiana. So lean on that, and then whatever may happen in the first half, take a lead, however it goes. You would think in the second half they would wear down the Hoosiers.
It's not particularly sunny at this point. Like, they're supposed to be partly cloudy most of the day. So as long as the clouds stay in front of the sun, it's pretty manageable out here. But once that sun is out, it is very warm. And that is, I think, Indiana will play into trying to keep Colin McCord and Devin Brown very warm by blitzing all day. So to me, that's got to be the first key for Ohio State, is how does this new offensive line hold up? That sounds obviously cliche. It sounds maybe a little bit obvious, but when you're dealing with two new starters at tackle, when you have a first-time center and a quarterback who's making his first real start as the man for the program, that is a challenge. And Indiana, Tom Allen, Matt Guerrieri are going to come at this Ohio State offensive line in a million different ways. And it's not just on the offensive line picking up the blitzes, it's the quarterback recognizing it, it's the running backs picking up the extra guy, and that's going to be a challenge. That's hard when it's the first game of the year, because you're still feeling out your front five, you're still feeling out the guy next to you, see how they respond in these moments. I think it's a key thing for Donovan Jackson and Matthew Jones to be as good as possible today, because those two are going to be so vital in helping the rest of the offensive line be on the right page.
So it's been fun to watch what Ryan Day helped do to expand the passing arsenal for Ohio State over the last 5 years. Got a lot of friends back in Columbus who have those old run the damn ball hats.
Yeah.
Today, especially, we should probably stop talking about the weather. We're making maybe too much of a big deal out of it, but because of what
I don't know, I have back sweat right now just standing here. So
it is muggy, but they're going to play football no matter what. So you may not want to spend all day airing it out. And as you mentioned, with 3 new offensive linemen, 2 new quarterbacks working in some form or fashion, Travion Henderson, probably time for him to go cook and maybe get some help, whether that means more work for Mayan Williams, supplementing that, Chip Trainum, Evan Pryor, Dallin Hayden, who could be all 5. Yeah. Who knows how that works out. Some pop passes and end arounds from Mecca Ibuka to make it a little bit easier for the quarterbacks and that offensive line as well. But, you have superior athletes if you're Ohio State, and you can exert your will, and maybe it'll be easier. Bill has made this point throughout the week and throughout the month. These guys are probably more equipped to go out and just maul people as run blockers right off the bat, rather than pass protection and sets may not be perfect yet. We'll see how that goes. I mean, they could easily prove all of that wrong. I think that Justin Fry picked that group of 5 for a reason, but let Travion Henderson go, and I think that can probably, shorten the work ethic, workload, work toll throughout this day, as Ohio State can mash it a little bit.
Indiana has 23 incoming transfers. They're going to have a brand new quarterback no matter who it is. Their team is sort of an unknown quantity at this point, an unknown commodity, sorry. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get from this Hoosiers team. We don't know if they're going to try to lean a little bit more on the run. They've passed the ball a lot in the last few years. Are they going to try to do that with Taven Jackson, who's a likely new quarterback? Very athletic kid from nearby Center Grove High School, same school as Caden Curry. Really good player. I think Indiana's going to try to move him around a lot and make the Buckeyes make some decisions about how aggressive you go getting after the quarterback. It's vital. It is imperative today that Ohio State gets pressure up the middle of the defense. So to me, that's my second key, is the defensive tackle play for Ohio State. I don't care who it is. It should be Michael Hall and Ty Hamilton at least starting, and then you rotate in Tyleik Williams and Tywon Malone and Hero Canoe and everyone else that can get in there. Maybe do some Rushman stuff, or you move in Caden Curry or move in JT Tuimoloau or move in Jack Sawyer. I don't know. We haven't seen what the Buckeyes intend to do, but you're going to need to get immediate up the middle pressure today to make sure that this new quarterback for Indiana doesn't get comfortable. Again, he's a very athletic kid, a really good player, but this is his first time as a starter in college football. He's playing at home in front of all of his family and friends, and he's facing the Ohio State Buckeyes. So you need to make him feel that front four for Ohio State.
Yeah, and I think we've spent a lot of time talking about Tom Allen bringing that variety of blitzes at the Ohio State offensive line, at Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. I kind of think that Jim Knowles should do the same. I understand your point, and the ideal situation is if you get it with 4, you win a lot of games that way. I completely agree with that. Don't take any exception to it. But I think Ohio State and Jim Knowles have to continue to be aggressive if they're going to get this defense to the game-changing, turnover-forcing, safety-driven defense and all that stuff that was hyped up and got a good chunk of that done in year 1 for Jim Knowles. If you're going to take the next step, like how much more in that playbook, how much more exotic can you get, the different pressures? You know, you saw some of that in year 1, of course, but if you have another year under your belt, you have veterans back, and you can continue to add on top of that, what different stuff could we see? You don't have to go absolutely crazy to beat Indiana. I understand that point. But if you can force 2 turnovers and end this game in the first half, you should.
Yeah.
And I think that if that means that occasionally coming with more than 4, especially because that's also a new quarterback on the other side for Indiana, have at it.
We have not seen the official Ohio State availability report, but we have it on pretty good suspicion that the Buckeyes are as healthy as they can be today. There are no names that are expected to miss this game that are of like note. People are thinking, oh, who could possibly be out? Nothing like that. So you're going to see a very healthy Ohio State team, and as you mentioned earlier, I'd like to see depth play. But to get to that depth, the first-team defense has to play well. And the biggest part of that to me is tackling on the outside. It's the cornerbacks being physical, because Indiana always tries the little quick hitters, the stuff to stretch the field out. I want to see Ohio State's Jordan Hancock, Denzel Burke, Davison Igbinosun making tackles. And I don't want Ohio State to try to do too much. I mentioned this on the Roosters show on Monday or Tuesday. Like, go out there, be in your base defense, and do it well. Go out there and compete. Make sure that you are hitting your fundamentals and just dominate this team from the start. Indiana is a Big Ten program. You have to give them respect of being a Big Ten team, but they don't belong on the same field as Ohio State. And so the Buckeyes need to come out early and dominate. I don't know who does it, but someone has to come up with a big play early to set the tone defensively. I'd like for it to be JT Tuimoloau or somebody like that, but to me, that's one of the keys. Coming out fast and making sure that Indiana's first drive of the day isn't a 15-play, 80-yard touchdown drive or something to just sort of suck the wind out of the defense that's been hearing all offseason about how much better they are, how improved they are going to be. Go out and prove it. Prove it.
Prove it. All right, so according to the new Big Ten protocol, that availability report from Ohio State and Indiana expected to be released from the Big Ten at 1:40 Eastern time. That is 2 hours before kickoff. So if you're adjusting your schedule for your afternoon, not going to be right at 3:30 on CBS, expecting that kickoff to be closer to 3:40. So other than that, I think that's what we got.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big day for Ohio State's quarterbacks. You want to see those guys come out. Where I'm saying on defense, I want to see the Buckeyes be base. I want to see them be aggressive on offense. I think that you can do that with a run-heavy game plan, but I still want to see Ryan Day and Brian Hartline and Corey Dennis and Keenan Bailey and Justin Fry allow these quarterbacks to go out there and make some plays, because I don't think that this little experiment with the quarterback rotation, however it's going to be handled, is worthwhile if you don't give them a chance to make plays, but also to make mistakes that they learn from. So I think it's very important that the defense, as I said, step up today, because I think the offense is going to make some mistakes.
All right, we're almost there, folks. Those are the keys. Kickoff is coming. Ohio State at Indiana. The season is finally here, and kickoff will be here before we know it. Full coverage, of course, coming on the podcast. Back in Columbus in the home studios, Doug and Bill. We'll be breaking that down as soon as the final whistle blows. We'll have Snappy J's from probably right about here. We'll also have the notebook and everything else you've come to expect from us from game coverage. We can't wait to provide it to you. Enjoy the game. We'll see you afterwards.
I got it here. You want it? Can I actually ask? Is it out front? It's underneath the stadium.